race fans, and welcome to the Rebel Racing Network and the Florida Academy Cup Series. I'm your commentator tonight, Austin Householder, and I'm joined in the booth by Tim Perkowski. Say hello to the fans, Tim.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Looking for some good road course action tonight.
And yes, we are expecting a lot of good road course action. We are coming to you live from Laguna Seca, a 2.2-mile road course located in Monterey, California, where these drivers will be competing for 60 laps. The weather tonight, it is 67 degrees, mostly cloudy skies. The track temperature is sitting at 93, and boys, it's slick out there. We've seen a couple of self-spins throughout practice here, at least here on my broadcast. Tim, are you seeing the same thing over there?
Yeah, it's pretty dicey out there. These guys are typically used to turning left only for 4 turns, and as soon as you add some right-hand turns in there, a lot more braking. It certainly lends itself to overdriving that car sometimes and having the rear end come out from under you.
Yep, and we see there, it looked like the 24 in the dirt over there. And another concern for these drivers, and I'm not sure how well you guys can see it on the broadcast, but a lot of dirt being thrown onto the track. That's going to make that track even slicker for these drivers.
Yeah, 100%. Taking a look at the track overall, the corkscrew is, as it's known, turns 8 and 8A is a blind left-right that really can give some trouble, and that's the biggest area where we're seeing a lot of that debris out there tonight.
Yes, it is. But the other concern is going to be turn two, that Andretti hairpin. We've talked to the drivers, the rules, or talked to the league owners, the rules for tonight's race. They are not planning on throwing cautions other than the stage breaks tonight, but they've already raised some concerns about turn two and, the track possibly getting blocked up there and having to throw some other cautions other than the stage breaks.
It's going to be really critical on those restarts coming up with high speed, having to get down really, really brake hard without losing the car to try to prevent from stacking up the field and taking out a whole bunch of cars. So that'll be one of the stories that we want to watch tonight as well.
Yep, we will definitely be keeping an eye on it. And we did mention stage breaks, so just a real quick update on the rules here. We will have stage breaks at laps 16 and 35 tonight, but they did adopt the new NASCAR rule, where NASCAR, if there's a caution within 10 laps of a stage break, that's going to count as the stage break. Since we do 50% races, we will be doing within 5 laps of a stage break. That will count as the stage break. So that's going to affect some of the fuel strategies we're going to see out here tonight. So the rules on pit road, these drivers are going to be given 5 sets of tires to complete the race, 60% fuel, and as always, no quick repairs. So that puts the pit window here about lap 20 to 25 for these drivers. 25 laps if you were really saving. So we've got to keep an eye on those cautions if it does happen where they have to throw a caution early on. That could definitely affect the fuel strategy.
The other thing too, Austin, that really could have an impact tonight could be a driver deciding to flip a stage. The pit's closed 2 laps before the end of the stage. So if a driver decides they want to flip a stage, come in a little bit early, that'll give them the advantage at the start of the next stage. But that's going to have a trickle effect all the way throughout the entire race. Like you said, 16 laps for that first stage, add on 19 more laps for that second one, and then you got that final stretch run. It's going to be interesting to see how these drivers navigate that.
Yes, it will. And we're currently looking at Seth LaCroix on screen. He is one that I would expect to try and flip one of these stages to get that good track position. We know he is hungry for a win. He cares more about winning the race in true Ricky Bobby fashion than those stage points. But we do have Dylan Picklesheimer very interested in the stage points here tonight. And currently Eric Rodeman on track. Looks like most of the field has pulled on track for qualifying here. Still waiting for some times to come in. And while we wait for these times to come in, we're going to go ahead and go through a quick breakdown of our point standings. Currently, Al Likens still sitting first in points with 233 points. Dylan Picklesheimer closing that gap up with 226 points. He is only 7 points back right now, and he is hungry for those stage points, trying to get to that lead. Jeremiah Nelson is sitting third in points with 221 points. Trevor Quisenberry, fourth with 198 points. Daniel Holloway in fifth with 150 points. Sixth will be Corey Rainey with 149 points. Corey Rainey not going to make it tonight, so he will be falling in that points race. Seth LaCroix sits seventh with 140 points. Nicholas Warner in eighth with 136 points. Brian Macklin sitting ninth with 130 points. And Tyler Green has made his way into the top 10 in points with 127 points. So that points race definitely heating up. No one really able to pull away quite yet, and we're going to keep an eye on Dylan Picklesheimer throughout the race, because I think this is the race that he might be able to get that lead away from Al Likens. And look at Al Likens on track there. And time's starting to come in now. Dylan Picklesheimer sitting in the pole position for the time being. Seth LaCroix in second. But Trevor Quisenberry, last week's winner, has just taken over that pole position. And hint, hint, for you guys over at the Wicked Pub, I was just informed by Dalton Gregson earlier tonight. The Wicked Pub, they do trivia nights on Thursday, and they've been throwing in some Florida Academy Cup Series trivia into their trivia nights. So very cool that they are getting involved there, and really happy to have them putting us on their big screen TVs. An update, John Underkoffler entering the chat. We saw him channeling his inner Daryl Waltrip earlier on up in the chat. Cranky Salt cheering for Storm Strube. Storm Strube out on track right now. Cranky Salt saying if Storm does not win this race, he is going to get fired tomorrow.
Maybe some extra incentive to have a good run tonight.
Yep, he's going to have to lock in here. We see him trying to keep that car on track. And look at Daniel Holloway in that Florida Academy car. He's just entered the track trying to lay down a quick time here. And Joseph Lewis saying Storm isn't going to get fired. He's just going to have to drive the Ford Ranger work truck. And don't knock the Ford Rangers, Joseph. Those little trucks can do just about anything.
Austin, I'm looking at the live timing here, and I got to tell you, pretty quick lap there for Madeline Jackson. We talked about her last week, being new to the series and giving it a go. She's sitting here right now with a really quick lap time. She was pretty good in practice as well, sitting right now in seventh.
Yeah, very impressive lap time for Madeline Jackson. Not just new to the league, but new to iRacing. Completely new to iRacing. Only an I rating of 1,200 for her, but a very strong showing. And she's up here running with the guys with a 2,000 to 3,000 I rating.
Yeah, and I watched her lap. It was she did a nice job. It was really smooth out there, and that's the key with these road courses. You've got to be able to hit your marks. You've got to be able to be smooth through all aspects of it and navigate it. We'll see how she does when there's some traffic around her. But all in all, a really good qualifying lap for her, for sure.
Yes, and races like this where you're not going to get full course cautions with the exception of the stage break, you really have to race the track instead of the drivers around you here tonight.
Yeah, looking big picture at points and understanding, you know, to be a road course specialist is something that is really unique to these drivers. We touched on it already earlier tonight. Um, so to your point, you've got to race the track and you've got to race within your abilities. Try to maximize what you can out of today. And certainly if you got an opportunity to go for it, do so. But you want to make sure you time that well and make sure you pick your spots.
Yep. And we are turning in here to Mike Hill, and then in that Enchanted Oaks RV Park car gets his first lap underway. And a big thank you to Enchanted Oaks RV Park for being a sponsor of the series. Once again, if you are looking for the perfect place to park and relax on the Texas coast, make sure your next stop is Enchanted Oaks RV Park, conveniently located on Highway 35 bypass in beautiful Rockport, Texas. Just a short drive from local beaches, art museums, shopping, and some of the best coastal attractions the area has to offer. Whether you're staying for a weekend getaway or an extended visit, Enchanted Oaks RV Park offers comfort, convenience, and the perfect place to call home while you explore the coast. Mention this broadcast, Rebel Racing Network, or that driver right there, Mike Hill, and you will receive a free gift upon checking in for your visit.
Oh, and there he goes in the corkscrew, like we talked about.
Yep.
Came in a little hot, salvaged it, was able to get back on track pretty quickly, but that's pretty hairy. You come up the hill entering turn 7, and turn 8 and 8A can be a real trick out there.
Yep, he's going to get it back going, though, trying to salvage a decent time here. And I've just been informed we are actually looking at an old paint scheme of Mike Hill, trying to get the paints to update on trading paints. Looks like qualifying getting ready to come to an end here. And Mike Hill not able to get a lap in here. Qualifying has come to an end. And we'll go through our official starting grid here. So, taking the pole will be Trevor Quisenberry driving the number 24 machine. Dawson Price will roll off second in the 71. Tyler Hurt will start third driving the number 18 machine. And fourth will be Dylan Picklesheimer driving the number 23. Seth LaCroix will start fifth driving the number 89. Tyler Green in sixth driving the 77. Madeline Jackson holds on to that seventh spot. She'll be in the number 88 tonight. Brian Macklin will roll off eighth, driving the number 30. Jason Orbesquez will start ninth, driving the number 67. Tristan Haynes in 10th, driving the number 60. Al Likens will roll off 11th, driving the 20. Alan Hess will start 12th, driving the number 14 machine. And 13th, we have Rob Robertson driving the number 33. Chet Sellers will start 14th, driving the number 9 machine. Joshua Edmonds will start 15th in the 3 car. Jeremiah Nelson in 16th, driving the number 46. In 17th, we have Stephen Alesse driving the number 8. Corey Yoakum will roll off 18th, driving the number 5. Eric Rodman in 19th, driving the number 96. Dave Mayberry will start 20th, driving the number 29. In 21st, we have Joshua Riddle driving the number 12. Daniel Holloway will start 22nd, driving the number 21 machine. In 23rd, we have Christian Rhodes driving the number 1. Thomas Lavierde will start 24th, driving the number 54. In 25th, we have Nicholas Warner driving the number 7. Although I've been informed that might not actually be Nicholas Warner in that 7 car. He had planned to, he's out of town. He had taken his entire iRacing rig to the hotel, but the Wi-Fi is not good enough for him to actually be able to compete. So he's going to have a fill-in driver tonight. Mike Hill will start 26th, driving the number 27. Matthew Wilson will roll off 27th, driving the number 809. Storm Strube in 28th, driving the number 45. And in 29th, rounding out your field, we have Dalton Gregson driving the number 28 machine. And the cars now making their way on track. Trevor Quisenberry will lead them to the green flag here. And Tim, you've been watching these guys practice. Who do you have your eye on tonight to be able to steal the win away?
You know, there's been a lot of those drivers out there that I've been watching closely. Obviously, you got to feel good about Trevor Quisenberry laying down that fast lap, but Dylan Picklesheimer, he's hungry. I think if I had to go for my pick of the night, my pick of the night is going to be the 89 of Seth LaCroix. We know he's hungry for a win, and he laid down a pretty fast time.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good pick there. We know he is more concerned about the win than the stage points. I think I'm going to have to go with his teammate, though, Dawson Price in that 71 machine. We've seen those guys race in an era over the last few months. You know, they had a very heated battle for the championship over there, and Dawson Price still hunting for his first win here in the Florida Academy Cup Series.
The other story I'm really interested in, Austin, as we watch them pace through here down through the corkscrew, is Madeline Jackson. You know, she laid down a really fast qualifying run, not super experienced in iRacing, but you can't deny the fact that she was pretty quick out there in her qualifying run, and she actually had some quick times in practice too. So let's see what the young lady can do.
Yep, we will see what they can do as they get ready to go racing here. That pace car is off. Trevor Quisenberry leading the field to the green flag. And it looks like everyone survived that pace lap with those tight corners there. And the green flag is out. We are underway.
Oh, we're getting ready to hold our breath the first time, Austin, here as we head into turn one. Turn two, that is.
Yep, and it looks like we're getting through cleanly so far. Did see a car driving up into the dirt. I believe that was the 46 of Jeremiah Nelson there. But everyone going to make it through there cleanly. And Trevor Quisenberry, our Vermont diecast pole sitter, already out to a second lead. And once again, Vermont Diecast, the best diecast store on Whatnot. Trevor Quisenberry taking that $5 award for taking the pole position here tonight. So, correction, it looks like it was Chet Sellers actually going off track there.
Oh, we've got a spin. And that looks like it was...
Looks like Tyler Hurt.
Tyler Hurt, yep.
Yep, and he's just going to come to a rest there in the sand and let the field go on by and, you know, try and save the damage and get back into this one. Go back and see what happened here. And a self-spin for Tyler Hurt in that Vermont Diecast Toyota Camry. So the first victim there. Tyler Smith getting back into it. You saw him going around. Dalton Gregson there. Dawson Price and Seth LaCroix settle into second and third. Trevor Quisenberry, though, looking very dominant here at the start of this one. And looks like we are seeing some more issues out in the back of the pack. Matthew Wilson going off track, as well as Dalton Gregson.
Corey Yoakum just got a little bit loose there as well, coming off the turn. He was able to save it, but definitely lost 4 or 5 spots there.
Yep, Corey Yoakum dropping back to 16th, but still in the plus territory here from where he started, up 2 positions from 18th. You see Corey Yoakum there. He locked up his tires, and you guys can see it there on your screen. That debris already getting thrown right back onto the track. So it looks like this track is going to be going through some major changes.
Well, and as you brought up at the start of the broadcast, contact between who was that? Corey
Daniel
Yoakum and
Holloway
Dan
and
Holloway.
Yep.
Coming through that corkscrew. We knew it was going to be tricky there.
Yep, Yoakum able to get it back going. Daniel Holloway going to lose some positions here. He drops back to 26th. Corey Yoakum now back to 19th.
And I was just getting ready to say before that happened out there, Austin, got to race the track. And we know for the first couple of laps until those tires get warmed up, that the track is really slick. You're going to find yourselves really fighting the track and fighting your car if you don't let it come to you just a little bit coming into the start of this race.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough, especially when you're stuck back there in traffic, because you do have to, the big thing is racing the track, but you still have to race the guys around you, and you might not get the room when you guys are racing for a position. We are starting to see these drivers get spread out, though. And I don't think anyone is more spread out than Trevor Quisenberry, a 3-second lead over Dawson Price and gaining. Quisenberry very fast, that clean air working for him.
Yeah, navigating the track really well, really smooth every lap. Looks like he's able to just kind of manage the car, put it where he needs to, hit his spots, hit his marks. And so far, a couple of laps into this race, he's really shown that he's a dominant fixture out there.
Yes, he is, but he is starting to come up on lap traffic now. He is approaching, looks like the 7 of Nicholas Warner. Nicholas Warner here having some issues. But lap traffic could become a factor, and I don't think we're done with the self-spins yet, so looks like there's going to be more lap traffic as the night goes on.
Yeah, and as these cars get strung out on the track, it tends to look like it's single file, but when you've got lapped cars that are blended in with cars that are on the lead lap, sure can add a little bit of chaos out there.
Yep, and I don't know how a lot of these guys are going to race on the road courses. This is the first time we've seen the Florida Academy Cup Series at a road course, so definitely some more mayhem to be had. But Trevor Quisenberry has to be wary about that.
Yeah, he was able to navigate getting by Nicholas Warner pretty easily as he got into turn 9. It looked like Warner pulled off just so he could let the faster car by, which was good.
Yep, and we are going to go check in with Madeline Jackson, the only female driver on track. She started 7th, dropping back to 10th, but so far has handled this road course well. She's going to go by Tristan Haynes there. Tristan Haynes running into some trouble. But Madeline Jackson doing an excellent job of racing the track and not the drivers around her and keeping that car clean throughout the early stages of this one.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing to keep in mind too is that the drivers that are ahead of her right now have all moved up through the field. So maybe they didn't lay down necessarily a quick qualifying lap, but certainly are pretty good in the race trim and working their way through the traffic. So even though it looks like she's dropped a couple of positions, she's battling the cars around her that maybe were just a little bit faster with more experience.
Yep, and we do have to get an update here on Eric Rodman, showing him involved in an incident. He's gotten that car back going, but we're going to take a step back and see what happened here. And Rodman going through the corkscrew, he just gets on those brakes too hard. It goes around, makes contact with Daniel Holloway. no sooner than that, looks like Tyler Green caught up in an incident here. See him stop there off track, waiting for a chance to get back out there. And now Seth LaCroix caught up in an incident as well. We'll go back and take a look at the Tyler Green incident here, and we'll get a look at Seth LaCroix's incident. Green all over the back bumper of the 30 of Brian Macklin there. They make their way around the lap traffic. Oh, Green, looks like he forgot to upshift there and just blew his engine, or downshifted too early getting into the corner, so Green's night will be done.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Very unfortunate. And jumping back to take a look at Seth LaCroix's incident here. LaCroix was running third. Going through the Andretti hairpin and just carried too much speed. A self-spin there. And then Dylan Picklesheimer going to get into Seth LaCroix. So LaCroix and Picklesheimer now going to deal with some damage there. And Brian Macklin is going to jump up to third now. We go back to the front of the pack. It is all Trevor Quisenberry. Still 3.5-second lead over Dawson Price. But Dawson Price not letting Quisenberry gain too much ground over him. And those two really have nothing to worry about right now. Holding a 12-second lead over third place. Now down to 10 laps to go in stage one. And now that things have calmed down, we want to go ahead and give a big shout out to our title sponsor, the Florida Academy. A big shout out to them. Want to thank them for being a part of this. At Florida Academy in Fort Myers, you'll find short-term professional education programs in some of today's fastest-growing fields. For over 3 decades, we've been helping students transform their dreams into reality. With a focus on real-world practical learning, we prepare our students to launch careers in the beauty and wellness and the skilled trades industries. And once again, thank you, Florida Academy, for making this possible.
Yeah, while you were in that break, Austin, Picklesheimer struggled getting through the course, or actually missed it altogether. Ended up through the gravel down the hill. Ended up having to give that spot up to Seth LaCroix.
Yep, and he's going to drop back to 5th. Not too much time lost, though, but him and Seth LaCroix, they've been battling it out. Here is LaCroix is going to set his sights on Brian Macklin. And an update there from FP in the chat. He said Dylan Picklesheimer did get wheel damage from that earlier contact with Seth LaCroix. So Picklesheimer going to be struggling here. He's just got to make it to the stage break and try and get that damage repaired.
Yeah, wheel damage on a road course is pretty detrimental. Like you said, I mean, he's sitting okay right now in P5 here. Just hoping to get to the stage break, and hopefully he's able to get that car straightened out for the future stages.
Yep, and an update here. Looks like Nicholas Warner involved in an issue. Warner a few laps down, and he's off track and slow. And checking in with our points leader here, Al Likens in that 20 machine. He started 11th, only making his way up to 10th so far. And Likens, who's been dominant most of the season, really struggling here when it comes to the road courses.
Yeah, you see that sometimes. It's a totally different mindset to be able to navigate the braking and the left and the right turns. You know, a lot of drivers, you know my experiences in short track racing. There are a lot of drivers that liken racing on a road course is similar to racing on a short track because of the timing of the braking and you know drag braking and everything like that that is required to get some good bite in the car. So you know, we might just see him struggling tonight with something that just is unfamiliar to him.
Yeah, and that might be something else to think about without Likens. Comparing it to a short track, we haven't really had any short track races so far this season in the Florida Academy Cup Series. The shortest track we've been to was Dover. That's still a mile-long racetrack. But we do have Phoenix coming up next week. Darlington will be coming up. North Wilkesboro for the All-Star race. Bristol, and then Bristol and Martinsville as well. So it looks like if he's struggling here, he might have some struggles over on the short tracks as well. And unfortunately for Likens, it looks like those short tracks are all going to stack up towards the end of the season.
Well, the good news for him and the other drivers that maybe need a little bit different craft in the short track is that being that they stack up a little bit, you should be able to build some consistency and momentum and some feel for the car. So um, there's no doubt he'll get it figured out. The points leader coming in tonight certainly knows how to drive a race car. It's just a matter of sometimes we all have our Achilles heels.
Yep, and you know, right now it looks like he is going to lose the points lead if they were to finish the race right now. Dylan Picklesheimer still running sixth, four positions ahead of Al Likens right now. And it looks like Picklesheimer has gotten that car figured out even with that wheel damage. Able to compete with the likes of Jason Werbesquez and Tristan Haynes.
Seth LaCroix actually just made a move up into third place on now fourth place running Brian Macklin. So his car seems to be coming to him. He's hitting his marks well. I've been watching his last couple of laps. Seems to be really smooth and has this track kind of figured out.
Yeah, and it doesn't appear that he has got taken too much damage from that contact with Picklesheimer. But a tall order to fill to try and get back to Dawson Price and Trevor Quisenberry. In an update, though, Dawson Price has closed that gap up with Quisenberry. It was at 3.5 seconds, now down to only about a second and a half as Quisenberry has to navigate this lap traffic. Go ahead and ride along on the hood of Dawson Price's car. See him overdriving the corner there, and that's going to be costly.
Yeah, Quisenberry right now running slightly faster laps than Dawson Price, but you want to just kind of keep him in your sights, especially coming down here towards the end of the stage. And actually, now's a good time for us to bring up that I wonder if some of these drivers are out there going to try to flip this stage, especially if they're running back a little bit here. Try to get the track position to start stage two. We'll see what happens here in the next couple laps.
Yeah, and looking back, I wouldn't be surprised if we see likes of like Macklin or Jason Werbesquez coming down pit road here. Get the fuel and tires on that car and flip the stage. This is the kind of these road courses, the kind of tracks you can get down pit road and not have to worry about losing a lap.
We've got some big movers here. Looking at the ticker here, Austin, we've got Christian Rhodes up 17 positions from his starting position, now running in the sixth position right now. So we want to keep our eyes on him. And then Mike Hill, who had a really rough qualifying lap, he's up 14 positions right now to position 12. Looked like his lap was going okay. He just obviously got off the track there and was unable to complete it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if your ticker's 100% correct. I am showing Christian Rose and Mike Hill as being the big movers, but currently got Christian Rose in 13th and Mike Hill in 17th. So just gonna go ahead and double check that real quick. Make sure the
Yeah, for sure.
scoring towers are up to date. Come down to 4 to go here. And Israel Burgos want to know what position Storm Strube is in. Storm Strube currently position 21st and is a lap down. So Strube struggling a little bit here. And update, Tyler Hurt bringing it down pit road. He's going to try and flip the stage. So Tyler Hurt going to pit here on lap 12. Again, the second stage break will be at lap 35. So he will still be short on fuel unless he were to take fuel under caution here. But Hurt, remember, he had that trouble at the beginning of the race, ended up dropping all the way to the back of the field. Has raced his way back up to 14th, though.
That's a pretty good gain in such a short time for sure.
Yep, so he's definitely got a lot of speed and has, on top of that, very clean lap, staying out of trouble other than that first lap incident. I think he might be one to keep an eye on here once we get to the later parts of this one. Going back to the front, Dawson Price now caught in lap traffic. He tries to work his way around Corey Yoakum. While he's doing this, Trevor Quisenberry driving away with that lead. And coming down to 2 to go left in the stage.
Yeah, and with 2 to go, the pits are closed, so they're going to have to run with what they have here until the end of the stage. If you haven't pitted yet, you know it's going to come at the stage break.
Yep, and currently still showing 15 drivers on the lead lap for the time being. Picklesheimer with that wheel damage. Oh, we got trouble here. The 54. They're against the pit wall. That was Thomas Lavierde. We'll go back and see what happened there. Lavierde out there all by himself, and it looks like he just locked up his tires and got that car spun around as they were coming through turn 11. And checking back in with Dylan Picklesheimer in that 23 machine. He is ready for this stage to be over. He has got to get that car down pit road and get that wheel damage taken care of. Madeline Jackson and Al Likens working their way around Dylan Picklesheimer. Jackson holding on to that 9th position and doing an excellent job of racing the track.
Yeah, Picklesheimer's really struggling right now. He can't wait until the end of the stage.
Yep, and it's coming to an end here soon. 1 to go. Trevor Quisenberry with a dominant lead over Dawson Price right now. Checking back in with Seth LaCroix. Even with that damage, still hanging on to that 3rd position. A good showing for Seth LaCroix as stage 1 going to come to an end. Trevor Quisenberry, your TriStar Property Maintenance stage winner. Quisenberry going to take the stage 1 win. Dawson Price going to lock up some stage points with a 2nd place finish in stage 1. Seth LaCroix in 3rd. Brian Macklin 4th. And Tristan Haynes rounding out your top 5 at the end of stage 1. And we're going to go ahead and step aside for a quick commercial break as they get set up for pit stops.
From the track to the tech, Creative Castle keeps your code running as clean as your laps. We test real-world devices and digital platforms so your next release won't crash in turn 1. At Creative Castle, we elevate your software with expert quality assurance and cross-platform testing. Whether it's native apps or networked hardware, we deliver precision-tested performance at scale. Behind every smooth app and smart device is a quiet castle. Creative Castle. We're the quality wizards and test knights who battle bugs and break bad code before it breaks your product. Creative Castle. Quality at full throttle. Your quest for quality ends here. It's race day on iRacing. The grid is set. Engines are rumbling. The chat is buzzing. The anticipation is building. But before the green flag waves, you need a moment that gets hearts racing. Hoorah Flyovers delivers cinematic, custom airplane flyovers for your iRacing or esports event, bringing real-world energy to your virtual track. Add a patriotic punch to your pre-race show, whether you're hosting a league championship, a memorial race, or just want to hype the crowd. Hoorah brings the thunder. Fully customizable, easy to book, stream ready, guaranteed to get your drivers and fans fired up. Because when the jets fly, everyone pays attention. Stand tall, fly loud, race proud. Hoorah! Visit Hoorah Flyovers on Discord or Facebook and bring the flyover experience to iRacing like never before.
Every race car starts the same. Just a shell, waiting for identity. Because every car can race, but not every car gets remembered. Custom. Bold. Built to stand out. Bird wraps. Don't just race, be remembered.
All right, and we are back, folks. The drivers have caught the pace car as they make their way around. And we are going to see some pit stops now. I'm interested to see what the 18 of Tyler Hurd is going to do here. You saw him trying to flip the stage, pitting lap 12. But doing the math, he's not going to be able to make it to the end of stage 2 here. On fuel, unless he is shutting that car off and going into full save mode under these caution laps. You
got to wonder, maybe he's thinking the long game to come in and try to short pit that first, flip the stage. He's going to have to come in early in the second, which will have him flip the second stage as well. Got to wonder how that strategy is going to play out for the long game, though, for the entire race.
Yeah, I'm curious to see it as pit stops have started here. Trevor Quisenberry leading them down pit road. And you guys can see that short pit road, and we've actually got enough drivers here to where the drivers are having to double up on their pit stalls. And update here, Tyler Hurt. He decides to forego pit road, and he's currently being shown in third behind Trevor Quisenberry and Dawson Price, who were going to hold on to that first and second place position. So Tyler Hurt was so far back, he couldn't get by the leaders even while they were on pit road under caution.
So that's interesting because that may not have played out exactly the way he thought it was going to.
Yeah, and well, it put him right back in third where he started tonight. So, you know, maybe he's going to be able to get up there and give Trevor Quisenberry a challenge for the lead. Now, if he can get some of that clean air and not have to race the cars around him, maybe he can run away with it and build up some time and get a better finishing position for stage 2.
Yeah, for sure. You got to think, though, with Quisenberry at the point, the way that he ran that first stage, he's got this track pretty well figured out, and he's got a pretty good handle on how to navigate it. And we'll definitely see how it's playing out.
Yep, and he will be in control when they do come around to the My World of Whiskey restart zone. And a big thank you to My World of Whiskey. This will be the first race we don't talk about them. Feels like every 5 to 10 minutes. But My World of Whiskey, the most comprehensive mobile app every serious bourbon collector should have on their phone. Founded by a collector who started like most of us, tracking his bottles in a spreadsheet, My World of Whiskey grew into the most complete tool on the market for managing a real collection. Built bourbon first with deep support for rye, Scotch, Irish, Japanese, and Canadian whiskey. Over 10,000 bottles and a hand-curated database that grows daily. Barcode scanning and spreadsheet upload to add bottles in seconds. Full purchase tracking with dates, locations, and prices. Collection analytics that give you the complete picture of your shelf. If you are serious about your bourbon, you need this app. Use promo code RACE25 to receive a 25% discount on the website or in the App Store and Google Play.
Well, when you were reading our ad there from our sponsor, thank you for doing that, by the way. There was some shuffling that happened out there with the lineup, and we can see Tyler Hurt now is scored in the first position.
All right, so Tyler Hurt actually going to have the advantage now, and the lights on the pace car are out. So we will go back green flag racing this time by. The lineup, Tyler Hurt in first. Trevor Quisenberry will restart second. Dawson Price third. Seth LaCroix in fourth. Brian Macklin will restart fifth. Tristan Haynes in sixth. Alan Hess in seventh. Jason Werbesquez will restart eighth. Al Likens in ninth. And Madeline Jackson rounding out the top 10. In Joseph, yes, Japanese whiskey does exist. It is actually pretty good. I've spent some time over there in Japan. Although I am partial to the Habu sake myself.
Well, Austin, they're getting ready to take turn 11. The pace car is in, and let's see how they navigate that Andretti hairpin again. First time was pretty good. We'll see what happens now.
Yep, and they're coming around to the My World of Whiskey restart zone. Green flag is back out. Trevor Quisenberry getting an excellent launch there. Tyler Hurt to the inside. He has the advantage as they go through the hairpin. Quisenberry hanging tough there, and as they go into turns 3 and 4, Quisenberry has the advantage. Quisenberry back to the lead.
Yeah, and Dawson Price has his sights set on Tyler Hurt right now for sure.
Yes, he does. And John Underkoffler, Japanese whiskey is not called sake. Sake is rice wine. Oh, trouble back in the pack. Jeremiah Nelson off track. So a couple cars getting off track there. We'll try and figure out where this all started here. It looked like that was the 14 of Alan Hess. Take a step back here. So it looked like Madeline Jackson actually getting into Alan Hess. Alan Hess wasn't giving her much room, and they get bunched up back there. Jeremiah Nelson, you see him back there on pit road. Looks like he's going to have to get some damage repaired. We go back to the front of this one. Trevor Quisenberry still in control. Tyler Hurt, though, holding on to that second place position for the time being and opening up a bit of distance over Dawson Price there.
Yeah, Tyler Hurt's definitely got his eyes set on Trevor Quisenberry, who we know has been navigating this track really well. You know, you got to wonder how much of it is just a matter of staying with it, you know, being patient, keeping them in your sights, and try to pounce if there's a mistake that's made.
Yep. And an update, Madeline Jackson, she was the one who got into Alan Hess, and she is showing a lot of speed right here. Now moving up to 7th for that 88 machine. Back to where she started. Oh, and we see Josh Edmonds there locking up the tires. He tries to navigate those corners. You saw that smoke come out of the rear of that car, and a mistake by Edmonds is going to cost him some time as Christian Rhodes gets by him. Joseph Lewis up in the chat still debating the liquor from the Far East. I'm definitely a connoisseur of that, Joseph. Maybe not so much anymore. And an update on our points leader, Al Likens, has moved up to 6th. He looks like he's starting to figure out this track. And right now, looking like he's going to be in a good position to hold on to that points lead. Is Dylan Picklesheimer has dropped back to 13th, trying to get that damage repair.
Yeah, I've been watching Al Likens on the track, and he's getting more comfortable and better for sure. His lines are a little bit more consistent lap after lap. He's got his eyes set right now on Tristan Haynes, you know, one spot ahead of him. He's trailing him by the better part of almost 2 seconds now. But just watch Al Likens. He knows how to wheel a race car, and no doubt he's starting to get this figured out.
Yeah, I think as we come down to the end of this one, Al Likens definitely going to be one to keep our eye on as this race continues.
And Tyler Hurt still maintaining with Trevor Quisenberry. Pretty impressive that he's prevented him from driving away. He seems to drive the car really hard into some of those hard brake zones to try to gain some, and actually now makes a move. Oh, Quisenberry makes a mistake.
Oh, Tyler Hurt going by Quisenberry. We had the screen over on Dawson Price, who had just made a mistake in the corner before that. And looks like Dawson Price just forgot to turn. Tyler Hurt going to get into the dirt on the outside of turn 11. Quisenberry going back to the lead here. But this battle is not over as Hurt driving right up to that back bumper. And we're going to go back and take a look at Dawson Perez here. Dawson Price running into some trouble, and this battle for the lead is about to get interesting. They are coming up on lap traffic now.
Yeah, and that's going to be a factor. Tyler Hurt has shown speed. He's shown that he can get past Quisenberry. Obviously, he made the mistake a couple of turns after he got by him. And, these road courses are tricky. Oh, there he goes.
Yep.
Unfortunately,
Oh,
Tyler Hurt goes around.
Yep, and
He's able to gather it back up.
Saving the damage there, but that's going to cost him some time. And just as Tyler Hurt went around, Quisenberry managed to pass both of those lap cars. Storm Strube pulling it down pit road. He's got some major wheel damage to that car. And Tristan Haynes going around now. Al Lyken's going to capitalize on that.
As will Dawson Price.
Yep, Dawson Perez trying to get back into it. He's got a fast car. But now he's got a tall order to fill to try and get back by Al Likens and Tyler Hurt. As Seth LaCroix has now moved to second. And with all that mayhem behind him, Trevor Quisenberry has opened up that lead. Half a lap ago, we were talking about him having to hold off Tyler Hurt. Now he holds a 7-second lead over Seth LaCroix.
Yeah, I have to think he was driving pretty guarded with Hurt behind him and putting on as much pressure as he was. Now, not seeing something in the rearview mirror gives you the opportunity to really just lock in and focus on each turn, hitting your spots, hitting your marks, and making sure you make the fastest laps.
Yep, and just a quick update on the Bird Rap's fastest lap. Currently not being held by Trevor Quisenberry. Seth LaCroix back there in second, the holder of the Bird Rap's fastest lap for the time being. And we do have an update. It looks like the struggles possibly continuing for Tyler Hurt. Going off track here. Going through turn 11, just overdrives it, ends up in the dirt there. That's going to cost him some time.
So you've got to think between him both going off the track, fighting Trevor Quisenberry as hard as he was, and that half spin that he had, he probably did some damage to those tires, which were about four laps older than everybody else's anyhow.
Yeah, but he still hangs on to third place with about a 3.5-second lead over Al Likens. So he's got room for some mistakes, but if you're Tyler Hurt, you've got to back it off now, not make any more mistakes that Al Likens can capitalize on. Start thinking about this second stage break.
Yeah, the question's going to be his strategy. I wonder what he's thinking in terms of coming in. If he's going to come in early and try to flip the stage, give up that track position, at the end of stage 2 to give himself a good spot at the beginning of stage 3, or if he's just going to try to ride it out because he's sitting third right now. If he can maintain this position, and if he's got enough fuel in the tank to get him to the end, of the stage, he should put himself in a pretty good position to sit in the catbird seat in the second row or somewhere right around there at the start of the third stage.
Yeah, and I don't know if short pitting is really going to help him here if he's able to hold on to this third position. We do know Seth LaCroix possibly dealing with some damage. Appears to be off the pace right now of Tyler Hurt and Trevor Quisenberry, about a second slower for Seth LaCroix that last time by. Tyler Hurt, you know, he's got a lot of options on pit road. We know that they're going to have to pit under green in this last stage. Get about 22 green flag laps in the last stage. It looked like.
You're right, but I do think he's got to be a little bit careful. He came in with 4 laps to go at the end of stage one. With this stage being 19 laps, that pushes him right to the end of that fuel window, and that's a long way around that racetrack.
That is completely right. You know, if I think we are going to see him come in under green flag here in stage 2, because it does not look like he is in fuel saving mode.
No, I would agree with that.
Yeah, continuing to run. Looking at the last lap times, he is the fastest car on the track.
So a little bit of strategy.
Going back to check in with our leader, Trevor Quisenberry, continuing to open up that gap over Seth LaCroix. Now sitting at 8 seconds. And looks like the issues are going to continue for Dylan Picklesheimer. He's had an issue. We'll go back and take a look and see what happened here. So Picklesheimer just cutting that corner too tight, getting up on the curb.
Don't look now. Al Likens just made a move, moved himself up into the 5th position by getting past Tristan Haynes right there. Eyes set now on Dawson Price.
Dawson Price, after that mistake he made trying to get back into this one. Still trying to navigate some lap traffic, but Al Likens showing that speed. And John Underkoffler asking about some cool race car and race truck sponsorship ideas for future reference. I don't have any off the top of my head, John, but I will get back to you as soon as I think of some. And Heather Bartell, we don't know what exactly happened with Storm, but you can see that right front tire damage as he sits on pit road. We did not see the incident that caused that, and it did not show up on our software. He definitely made hard contact with something. Now down to 6 to go in the stage. We'll go ahead and check back in with Madeline Jackson out there all by herself now. Still sitting in 9th. A very good top 10 showing for that 88 car thus far.
Yeah, she's had a really nice race so far, figuring this racetrack out. Running, for the most part, some clean laps. We know she had some contact earlier in the race after the restart. We'll see how she's able to navigate the second half of this race.
Yeah, she did let Brian Macklin and Christian Rhodes get by her, but you know, She has struggled throughout the season, trying to get ahead of that learning curve, and you know, a big changes for her coming over to iRacing, but doing very excellent here on the road course. We'll check back in with Tyler Hurt. Now with a 5-second lead over Dawson Price.
Lock the tires up a little bit going into the corkscrew, but seems like he's no worse for the wear. Certainly not slowing down at all.
Nope, and looking at the lap times for Tyler Hurt. Oh, here comes Tyler Hurt down pit road now, and he's going to lock up those tires getting onto pit road.
That's unfortunate. He missed that turn. That's a tough turn there here at Laguna Seca coming on a pit road. That's going to cost him a lot of time.
That is, but I don't know how big of a cost that is going to be to him here. Just for the fact that, you know, he kept up with the leaders. He's not at risk of being a lap down after this pit stop. So he should be able to flip the stage here as he pits with 4 to go. And Heather, you know, I've been looking into trying to look back and see what happened to Storm. It did not show up on our scoring software, so I'm not exactly sure where exactly Storm picked up that damage. I do apologize about that. It does get a little bit tricky trying to figure out where everyone wrecks at these road courses, especially when it's all green flag racing. So now coming down to 3 to go as Trevor Quisenberry comes through turn 11. Approaching that number 27 of Mike Hill. Quisenberry, no pressure out of the back. Seth LaCroix trying to close the gap up with Trevor Quisenberry. 11 seconds. LaCroix not going to be able to do it this time, but looking at that 89 car, it looks like he did not get any damage repaired at the stage 1 break. So that car not hurting too bad to be able to hang on to second place here. Trevor Quisenberry has worked his way around Mike Hill now. And now coming down to 2 to go here. Quisenberry's going to cross the line. It looks like we've got an issue out of Brian Macklin back in the pack. Macklin currently sitting 7th. Out there all by himself, and it looks like this was just a self-inflicted issue for Brian Macklin. He catches that curb, and that sends his car around.
Yeah, it's really a game of inches on these road courses. Catch that curb just a little bit, and it throws the weight off, throws the balance off, throws 2 tires off the air. Can really disrupt the car.
Yep, and it's not the first time we've seen an incident like that going through that corkscrew. The driver's trying to shave off as much time as they can. And pushing it just a little bit too hard there. Now showing Al Likens off the track over driving a corner. And coming down to 1 to go in the stage here. And Heather, I do not believe Storm is going to be able to fix that car and get that car back out on track. It did look like heavy damage, and typically with that much damage being shown, Storm Strube, his crew probably packed it up and said, we are done for the night. Watch Trevor Quisenberry navigating this lap traffic. You just got to keep that car clean. No pressure out the back for Quisenberry.
The lap traffic's not making it easy for him, though. That's for sure.
Yeah, and, that lap traffic, typically those are guys that have already been caught up in an issue, whether it be self-spins or being caught up in someone else's issue. You've got to watch out for them to make a mistake. We definitely do have a wide skill gap. Trevor Quisenberry with 4,500 I rating, and our lowest I rating tonight is actually Tyler Hurton at 18 with 885 I rating. And Quisenberry going to cross the line. The green and white checkered flag waves. Trevor Quisenberry, our Stage 2 TriStar Property Maintenance winner. So Quisenberry has swept the stages, and he is going to set his sights on getting that race win. It looks like Dawson Price caught up in an issue here coming to the end of the stage. So not Dawson Price or Seth LaCroix there for Dalton Gregson. Looks like the 7 of Nicholas Warner had the issue here after that caution flag waved. As they get set back up for pit stops, we'll take a quick commercial break.
Do you love Orlando's theme parks, but the long lines have you losing the magic? Introducing Ride Waits, the Apple Watch app designed to help you skip the stress and ride more, with real-time wait times and park info right on your wrist. Whether you're exploring Walt Disney World, adventuring through Universal Orlando, or taking it all in at SeaWorld, Ride Waits helps you navigate smarter and get the most out of your visit. No more wandering, no more guessing, just more riding. And it's not just wait times. Ride Waits also offers tips on the best times to ride, general park info, and helpful alerts so you never miss out on your favorite attraction. Whether you're planning ahead or making game day decisions in the park, Ride Waits keeps everything you need at a quick glance away. Ride Waits, your wrist-side guide to the best parks in Orlando. Available now on the Apple Watch store.
Not affiliated with or endorsed by any theme park brand.
From the track to the tech, Creative Castle keeps your code running as clean as your laps. We test real-world devices and digital platforms so your next release won't crash in turn 1. At Creative Castle, we elevate your software with expert quality assurance and cross-platform testing. Whether it's native apps or networked hardware, we deliver precision-tested performance at scale. Behind every smooth app and smart device is a quiet castle. Creative Castle. We're the quality wizards and test knights who battle bugs and break bad code before it breaks your product. Creative Castle. Quality at full throttle. Your quest for quality ends here.
All right, and we are back, folks. And Heather, got some good news for you. We were able, under that commercial break, and you got to give a big thanks to Tim here up in the booth with me. He was able to track down what exactly happened to Storm Strube there to cause that damage. It looks like it was that big checkup in the 46 just coming up in front of Storm Strube. Go ahead and ride along with Storm here. That was a hard hit for Strube. So pit stops have cycle through here. Tyler Hurt going to go to the lead. Trevor Quisenberry back to second. Seth LaCroix in third. Dawson Price fourth. Al Likens in fifth. Tristan Haynes in sixth. Christian Rose will restart seventh. Brian Macklin in eighth. Madeline Jackson will restart ninth. And Jason Orbeska is going to round out your top 10. And when we do get back racing, we're going to have around 23 laps left to go in this one. So right on the edge of that pit window, I think we're going to see a lot of guys trying to save here.
Yeah, I think so too. You know, it's right on the edge, like you said, but running out of gas is going to be really detrimental. So we'll see. We'll see what these guys have.
Yep, and the lights on the pace car are off. They are going to double them back up and get ready to go back. Oh, correction. Looks like the lights on the pace car coming back on now. So they are doubling them back up. We're going to go 2 more laps around while they try and get things sorted out here. And that extra pace lap going to be a huge factor for these guys, allowing them to save a little bit more fuel. I wouldn't be surprised. We're going to go ahead and just ride along on the hood of Tyler Hurt's car. I wouldn't be surprised if we hear him starting to cut that engine off, trying to save fuel. So Tyler Hurt sounds like he's going to keep that car running, and he's already planning on coming down pit road here in stage 3. So this extra caution lap definitely could hurt Tyler Hurt's pit strategy here. But if these guys are not able to save enough fuel under caution, Tyler Hurt, he knows he's going to have to come down pit road. He could be working an advantage here, trying to open up that gap early on and not lose as much time coming down pit road, and he'll have the advantage of fresh tires. All right, and it looks like they've gotten the standings sorted out. The lights on the pace car are out, and looks like they're going to stay out here. So just an update here. Looks like some changes in the standings. Dawson Price actually going to restart second. Seth LaCroix in third. Tristan Haynes will restart fourth. Brian Macklin in fifth. Al Likens will restart sixth. Trevor Quisenberry restarting, like, hang on. Looks like Trevor Quisenberry is still trying to get this sorted out. All right, so Quisenberry going back up to second. Dawson Price to third. F. LaCroix will restart fourth. Tristan Haynes in fifth. Al Likens in sixth. Brian Macklin in seventh. Christian Rose in eighth. Madeline Jackson will restart ninth. And looks like Dylan Picklesheimer are going to round out your top 10. So a little bit of confusion here. Looks like iRacing got a little bit confused, and that's why that caution was extended there.
The beneficiary of that caution was Joshua Riddle, who was able to get his lap back. He had just been passed by Quisenberry, on that last green flag lap. Unfortunately, as he was cycling around to try to catch up to the back of the field, he had some trouble going through the corkscrew and actually sidewalled that into the tires.
Yep, and I could see that right front damage there on Joshua Riddle's car. And Joseph Lewis trying to get the chat to all root against Dylan Picklesheimer here. Joseph, I'm just curious, what did Picklesheimer do to you? But the pace car is off, and they're coming around to the My World of Whiskey restart zone. Tyler Hurt in control of this one.
So far, so good tonight in the Andretti hairpin, but we'll see.
Yep, the green flag is out, and it's a drag race to that hairpin. Hurt having to be careful not to spin his tires here. As exactly what Trevor Quisenberry needs. But Hurt getting an excellent run through the hairpin. But Quisenberry gonna get the best of him for now. As Hurt tries to cross over. Quisenberry's loose. And that battle for the lead is on. Oh, Hurt gets into the dirt. He is loose. Dawson Price going to have to go off track to avoid Tyler Hurt. And Tyler Hurt going to lose a lot of ground here, as he has to wait for the rest of the field to go by to get that car back out on track safely.
Yeah, you got to hate it for him there at that point. Running a really good race, had a really good race car. You know, unfortunately, those are the breaks, unfortunately, with these road courses.
Yep, so, and with that, Tristan Haynes going to move into second place now. Dawson Price was in the wrong place, wrong time there as well. So this is Tristan Haynes' first time in the top three, and I don't know if he's going to have anything for Trevor Quisenberry.
The way he's run this race today, you'd have to think that Quisenberry has the advantage for sure. Already jumping out to about a 1 second lead.
Yep, Tristan Haynes going along with him, though. Jacobs back in the pack. Al Likens has now moved to third. Brian Macklin to fourth. Christian Rhodes up to fifth. Seth LaCroix dropping back to sixth.
You got to wonder how hard you go at the front of this stage here, that being right on the edge of the pit window. Some of these drivers might think about taking some chances here, especially, you know, sitting inside the top 10, but not necessarily contending. If they can save and they can hold a little bit, might be able to steal one here.
Yeah, and I think the strategy can go one of two ways. Trevor Quisenberry definitely had the pressure put on him at the beginning of this one. He's only got about a second lead over Tristan Haynes, so can't really go into save mode just yet with Haynes putting that pressure on from behind. I think if you're back in the pack, you've got to plan on pitting about halfway through the stage, just topping off that fuel and getting those fresh tires.
We talked at the top of the broadcast about Seth LaCroix and how hungry he is for a win. He's sitting right now in the back of the top 10. You know, I just have to wonder, is he willing to just ride around and save a little bit here for 3 or 4 laps, and maybe he can maybe he doesn't come in for a pit stop. Maybe he tries to stretch it to steal a win.
Yeah, and I am looking at the standings here. Seth LaCroix has definitely fallen since that restart. I think that is exactly what is going through his mind right now, trying to save and not have to pit under caution or under green flag conditions.
You know, it's funny, you can't get in the heads of these drivers. We don't have the ability to talk to them during the races here. But the question's got to be how many of the other drivers are thinking the exact same strategy as he is? And if everybody's thinking the same strategy, is it actually a strategy that's going to pay out?
And that is the big question. You know, I've definitely won a few races on iRacing by doing what everyone else didn't. But judging by how much time Seth LaCroix has lost here in the track position that he has lost, I think he's saving just a little bit more than everyone else. So,
No, I totally would agree with you.
you know, that's got to be in the minds of everyone, because that, you know, that lap count right on the edge of the pit window, you could make a miscalculation and end up running out of fuel in the last lap.
I was recently talking with a driver at the Stafford Speedway where we've noted that I work here on Friday nights, and he remarked to me one day that driving a race car and finding your way to victory lane is 25% driver, 25% car, and 50% luck. So we'll see if that's what plays out here.
Yep, and I think, you know, you're going to need a little bit of luck tonight if you're going to beat that 24 of Trevor Quisenberry. Tristan Haynes hanging tough there, though, staying within a second. And we're going to see how this plays out as those tires fall off. I think Trevor Quisenberry may be sitting here trying to save some fuel as well. And look at the lap times. Quisenberry about 0.3 of a second slower than Tristan Haynes that last time by.
You know, and it's interesting. I haven't been watching his car on the track. Seth LaCroix is running somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 seconds lower per lap on his last lap. Uh, 15 to 20 seconds slower. Maybe he's trying to save.
Yep, and update out of Madeline Jackson. Her first incident of the race. She's going to lose 2 positions back to 11th. We'll go back see what caused that. And Jackson just catching the curb there. That is an interesting stat that you did just point out on Seth LaCroix. Definitely, 15 seconds slower. And I don't think he's had any issues that would cause him to run slower in that last stage.
Definitely picked it up on his last lap. Maybe he was just, I don't know. Not sure why he was so slow on that lap that I had pointed out, but definitely has picked it back up again.
Yep, and going back and looking, it looks like he may have went off track. We are seeing something in the scoring. Oh, LaCroix actually got spun there. And is going to make contact with that wall there, so maybe that car is hurt. And looks like we've got a little bit of a college football rivalry going on in the chat right now.
Meanwhile, back at the front of the pack, Quisenberry cannot get away from Tristan Haynes, and Haynes is actually closing that gap up just a little bit, down to under a second now.
Yep, and with 15 to go, we may see a battle for the lead between Haynes and Quisenberry. And James Price saying he's thinking between 15 and 12 to go, try and short pit with 2 tires and fuel. That is a good strategy there.
Yeah, top the tank off, get a little bit of fresh rubber, don't sacrifice too much track position. Now that these cars are pretty well stretched out here on the track, really with the exception of the battle for positions 1 and 2, might be a way to go.
Yep, and James Price normally knows what his son is going to do on track. He's cheering on Dawson Price here in that 71 machine. We saw Dawson Price make his mistake earlier, driving off the track after forgetting a turn. So Dawson may just be yelling at James, you're giving away my strategy right now.
Well, and Dawson's sitting in a good position, sitting in third place. He's got a 4-second lead on fourth place Al Likens, but he's sitting 4 seconds behind the leaders here. So, you know, he's really in a good position here to navigate this end of this race. We'll see if that short pit's the way to go.
Yep, and going back, that lead is still dwindling between Tristan Haynes and Trevor Quisenberry right now. And
So you got to wonder who's dictating that right now, right? Is Tristan Haynes really just putting enough pressure on for Quisenberry to use some of his car up, or is Quisenberry able to just kind of navigate the turns and the track and make Tristan Haynes go where he's not?
Yeah, and watch it. I think Trevor Quisenberry is still in control of this. Tristan Haynes is keeping up with him, but I think Quisenberry's got him right where he wants him right now. Looking at Quisenberry's lap times, he's about 2 seconds slower than his best lap right now. And, this isn't something we've seen out of Quisenberry. We've seen him be able to drive away from the pack, and Haynes kind of came from the middle of that top 10 pack. I wasn't sure if he was going to have the speed to keep up with Quisenberry. I think, we're going to see it maybe a few laps here. Quisenberry turning it back on and pulling away.
Yeah, it might just be a little bit of save mode, being right at the window of whether or not you can make it. Maybe he's just holding back a little bit until he's confident that he can make it to the end.
Yeah, and I'm, looking at the way he's raced this entire race, I think he could probably hold back pretty much this entire run and still hold on to that lead position. We're starting to see that gap open back up between him and Tristan Haynes. It looks like Thomas Lavierde having an incident here. Go back see what happened. Lavierde, we saw him pulling off pit road. He was involved in an earlier issue. A self-spin for Thomas Lavierde. Fresh tires, looks like he had to get used to that. And we're going to go ahead and take a quick look at the track temperature. It is the air temperature outside. It has dropped down to 66 degrees from 67. But you can see that sun has come out just a little bit more. So as the temperature goes down, that sun coming out may work a little bit more of heat into that track.
It's also worth noting, Austin, that Seth LaCroix did come in and pit. So we'll see what that means for him.
Yep, and LaCroix sitting there in 11th right now, pitted lap 47. He's got some fresher tires trying to get that car back up to speed. But keep an eye on Dawson Price here. He's closing in with Tristan Haynes now.
Yeah, and Dawson Price is coming.
Yep, and he's got some speed too. Looking at the last lap times of Dawson Price, Tristan Haynes, and Trevor Quisenberry, Price faster than Quisenberry by 0.3 of a second, and almost a whole second faster than Tristan Haynes. So Price has caught the 60 of Tristan Haynes. We're going to see if he can work his way by. And this has got to be something Quisenberry loves to see in his rearview mirror, because those two getting ready to battle it out. And that's going to allow Quisenberry to pull away here, it looks like.
Yeah, sitting with almost a 2-second lead right now. He's loving the battle that's happening behind him.
Yep, and that gap now opening up now up to 2 seconds. So Quisenberry looks like he's going to turn that speed back up, and I think he feels confident he can make it to the end now.
Tristan Haynes with a little bit of trouble there. Dawson Price goes by.
Yep, that's going to open up that door for Dawson Price. Price will clear him. Now down to 10 to go. Quisenberry running away with it. Joshua Edmonds on pit road now. And checking back in with Seth LaCroix on those fresh tires after coming down pit road. Still running a little bit slower than the leaders by about a second, but gaining on Madeline Jackson now. And FLK in the chat pointed out it was Madeline Jackson who spun Seth LaCroix earlier on. Looks like we've got an issue out of Eric Rodman and Thomas Lavierde. We're going to go back and take a look here. So possibly separate issues for Rodman and Lavierde. So Rodman just having some trouble going through the corkscrew there.
Yeah, definitely the tricky spot on the racetrack for the day for a lot of these drivers.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of issues there throughout the day. Go back to the front of the pack and we'll take a look at Dawson Price trying to close that gap up with Trevor Quisenberry. The gap currently sitting at about 1.5 seconds as Quisenberry navigates around the lap traffic in front of him. That was the 5 of Corey Yoakum there. Dawson Price going to try and do the same. Looks like the problems are going to continue for Eric Rodman. Another issue out of him as we check in to see what's happening there. Rodman making it through the corkscrew, but on the tail end, hits the curb, and he goes around again, almost in the same exact spot. The 7 of Nicholas Warner going to go around.
In the meantime, Quisenberry's opened up a better than 2.5 second lead on Dawson Price. Dawson Price actually just had one of the lap cars spin in front of him coming out of turn, I think it was turn 11. Nope, turn 8 it must have been. Probably a little bit of a tense moment there for him.
Yeah, he's able to keep that car clean, but definitely going to hurt him trying to get back by Trevor Quisenberry. Quisenberry really turning it on here at the end of this one. Dawson Price trying to catch back up. He was faster by about a second that last lap. FLK saying Dawson's going to have sand everywhere. I think a lot of these cars are going to have sand in them. Bringing up concerns about the tech pad and being overweight at the end of this race.
Lap traffic here in front of Quisenberry could be a little bit of a factor. Able to navigate it easily down into that Ray Hall straightaway there.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see this lap traffic cutting Quisenberry a little bit more of a break in the third stage, knowing that they're not going to get an opportunity for the lucky dog. So no competition to be the first car a lap down now, as Quisenberry sets his sights on Mike Hill.
Yeah, the gap now about 3 seconds to second place Price.
Yep, and with only 6 to go, I think that I think if these guys thought they had to pit, they would have already come down pit road at this point. Check it back in with our points leader, Al Likens, currently sitting back there in 4th. A 3-second lead over Brian Macklin right now, but 11 seconds to 3rd place Tristan Haynes. It looks like Al Likens has settled in for a top 4 finish here. And Joseph Lewis saying someone needs to check Quisenberry for Game Shark codes. I tell you what, that car definitely needs to be looked over when it gets to the tech pad, because he has been completely dominant here tonight.
Yeah, he's run a pretty flawless race with the exception of Tyler Hurt getting by him at one point. You know, he's been up front and leading the entire thing.
And it looks like shades of SVG here, the way Quisenberry has dominated this race.
Yeah, and he's pulling away now, 3.5 seconds almost leading there.
And Nando entering the chat saying Trevor is just that good. We are down to 5 to go in this one.
Well, to Nando's point, I came on the broadcast last week for the first time, and we saw what Quisenberry did in Indy, and he's backing it up with a road course. A little bit off the track there, though.
Yep, I don't think that's going to affect him too much. No pressure out the rear at this point. 3.5 seconds back to Dawson Price. You see Dan
You're right,
Holloway
Austin.
off track.
Yep. Yep, absolutely. I was just going to say though, a self spin or one mistake might be all that Dawson Price needs. So Dawson Price needs to make sure that he continues to hit his marks. Got to hope that Quisenberry makes a mistake. Not sure that that's going to happen, but that might be the only opportunity that Dawson Price has at this point, being 4 seconds back.
Yep, Dawson Price, no pressure either. Both of these guys, we've seen them, run a pretty flawless race, but when Dawson Price was catching back up to Trevor Quisenberry when he was battling with Tyler Hurt, we saw Dawson Price make a costly mistake. Something we've not seen out of Quisenberry. I think, I think it's highly unlikely that we see any issues out of Quisenberry at this point. He is just cruising right now as we are down to 4 to go.
Yeah, and with the amount of buffer that he has, and he can see where he is, on the track with Dawson Price. He really just needs to be smooth, hit his marks, nice easy laps. Even if he gave up a second a lap, that's not going to be enough for Dawson Price to catch him.
Yeah, and Dawson Price, though, not going to leave this race empty-handed, though. It looks like he has locked up the Bird Rap's fastest lap award, and we may see a new Dubby paint scheme here next week. Getting a heavily discounted paint scheme from Bird Raps.
Yep, and Quisenberry's just driving away with it now. He's up to a 7-second lead. And barring any mistakes, you'd have to think that he's pretty much got this one wrapped up.
Yep, and it does look like Dawson Price has definitely used up those tires trying to track him down. Now down to 3 laps to go in this one. And Trevor Quisenberry going to get by the lap traffic of Eric Rodman. That was a dangerous spot to be passing Rodman in. That corkscrew where we've seen Rodman have multiple issues. That could have changed the whole landscape of the race right there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're in control of your own car. Unfortunately, you can't do anything about the drivers in the other car. So you just got to hope that that you can get through that flawlessly and without any damage. And he did.
Yep. Now down to 2 to go.
Don't look now, but there's under a 1 second gap between Dawson Price and Tristan Hayes for second and third. And
Yeah,
he's right on him right there.
Yep, Tristan Haynes tracking Price back down, and Price has lap traffic in front of him.
That lap traffic made it a little bit difficult in that corkscrew.
Yep, and here comes Trevor Quisenberry around to take the Enchanted Oaks. A white flag, 1 lap to go. And it looks like Quisenberry's got this locked up. He's just got to take it easy. A 12-second gap back to Dawson Price. And Dawson Price is about to have his hands full with Tristan Haynes.
He sure does. He's actually found himself a little bit off the track there, coming down to the front stretch. Now we'll see how he can handle this last lap. See if he can maintain and hold it down for second place.
Yep, and Haynes currently about 7/10 of a second off that back bumper of Dawson Price. About 4 car lengths. I don't know if Haynes is going to have anything for Dawson Price, but he is trying as hard as he can. Oh, Dawson Price is slow. I think Dawson is out of gas.
Yep, think he might be out of gas the way that Tristan Haynes is just driving on by.
Yep, Dawson Price running out of fuel. He was pushing that car hard. Now the question is Trevor Quesenberry good on fuel?
Well, with a 12-second cushion, thinking that last turn, not a clean turn.
But it doesn't matter. He's got a 12-second lead. Trevor Quesenberry going to be our TriStar Property Maintenance race winner here as that checkered flag waves. Tristan Haynes going to come home second here. And Brian Macklin going to round out the top 3. And I don't think Dawson was the only one to run out of fuel. Dylan Picklesheimer coming home 4th. Tyler Hurt looks like he'll come home 5th. Al Likens out of fuel. Dawson Price out of fuel there. LaCroix is good to go.
Well, we thought that fuel was going to play a factor. Quesenberry just seemed to handle the track really, really well. Was able to maintain just enough. He probably was saving at the beginning part of that run to push it at the end. But definitely another good run for Trevor Quesenberry.
Yeah, a good run for Trevor Quesenberry, and also a good run for Dylan Picklesheimer. That 23 car, he pitted lap 43, and this is going to have some points implications. As Al Likens looks like he's also run into an issue that damaged front end, but Likens running out of fuel and currently being scored in 12th, and he's not going to be able to make it back to the line. And Trevor Quesenberry going to burn it down. Quesenberry celebrating there. And FP saying Al got screwed by someone that was pushing Dawson Price. Gotta see what happened here with Al Likens.
Yeah, I feel like I might have caught the tail end of that. I saw a car go nose first into the wall. I wonder if that was him.
Yep, and it definitely was him. Got to back it up there. Someone was definitely trying to push Dawson Price back around to the flag there. Right alone in Al Likens' car. See what he saw. So looked like Al Likens was more worried about what was going on there and just completely missed that corner. But we do have to go ahead and move on to our interviews here. We're going to kick it off with third place, Brian Macklin. And Macklin kind of coming out of nowhere at the end of that race. Brian, it's Austin and Tim up in the booth. You got us?
Yes, sir. How we doing?
Pretty good. How are you doing, sir? Got to feel good to take away a top 3 here tonight.
I'm exhausted. Road course racing is very, very tiring, and that was a lot of work. So it was fun, but a lot of work.
All right, it definitely looked like a lot of work. And I tell you what, it's definitely a lot of work for us up in here in the booth as well. But I've got to ask, we were watching you. You were about middle of the top 10 for most of the race, and then you come out of nowhere to get a top 3 finish. Take us through that last lap.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was probably top 4 or 5 on speed. I messed up on the start of the second stage and spun out and lost a bunch of track position. Then I got caught up in somebody else that spun out and got some damage. And I was still fast, but just couldn't get the track position back. And I'm not really sure how I ended up in third. I guess a couple of guys pitted. I think Al pitted with a couple laps to go, and then looked like Dawson ran out of gas on the last lap. So I stole a couple of spots that I probably shouldn't have gotten. But hey, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
Oh, and we were talking about that during the broadcast. That definitely some luck going to play into tonight. How big is this third place finish for you?
Well, considering the 2 road courses on the schedule were the ones I was the most worried about, I'm pretty happy with the third place finish. I'm typically not very good at the road courses. I spent the last 2 days practicing, getting ready for this, just trying to make sure that I wasn't going to be terrible. Still had a lot of work to do. Trevor was the class of the field by a mile. I felt like I could match his lap times a couple of times here and there, but he was just way more consistent. But I'm happy with the third place. Happy to get some good points. We've had a rough start to the season. Had a couple of good weeks back to back now, so that's good. Got to keep trying to stack them together, get some points, and try to get closer to the top of the point standings.
All right, and today was definitely a big move for you. The points are already out. You've jumped 3 positions up to 6th with 176 points, so 45 points above that cut line for the chase. So definitely a good showing for you. And we've got Phoenix next week. Are you looking forward to that track?
Oh, Phoenix is one of my favorite tracks. That was one of the ones I had circled. That one, and then I believe I'm trying to find the schedule here real quick. But Nashville was one of my favorites that I was looking forward to. We ran that one already. I feel like I let that one slip away. Phoenix is another one of those tracks where I really look forward to going there. It's a track that fits my driving style. Honestly, when I look at the schedule, the next 4 or 5 weeks, I like my chances of being up front and contending for wins, and hopefully not throwing them away like I did Dover a couple weeks ago. That one still stings. So we gotta not do that, clean up the mistakes, and get the finishes we deserve.
All right. Well, we are going to let you get on out of here and start looking forward to Phoenix. Before we do, though, anyone you want to shout out?
Yeah, I got to thank you guys for doing the broadcast. As always, it's cool to go back and watch these shows and see how things go. Got to thank all the sponsors here at Vistra. I'm still trying to get used to all the different sponsors. We got My World of Whiskey. So got to thank them for being here. The Florida Academy, obviously, for sponsoring the whole series. Enchanted Oaks, obviously, they're a big part of it as well. So anybody that's had a hand in this season so far, got to thank them because they've made it more possible to do this, and the admins for putting on the show and putting up with some of the chaos that they had to deal with. And then I've said it already on here a couple of times, the American Lung Association. If you or a family member is going through lung cancer or any other lung disease, that's a foundation that is trying to raise money and raise awareness to help find cures and find medicines that'll help make your family members better. So if you can get out there and donate to them, it's a big deal.
Right. Well, we appreciate it, buddy, and we will see you back here next week at Phoenix. Congratulations again.
Yes, sir. Hopefully we're in Victory Lane next week.
All right. We'll see. Have a good night, buddy.
You too, guys.
All right. Once again, that was Brian Macklin taking home third place tonight. We're going to move on to second place finisher, Tristan Haynes. Tristan, it's Austin and Tim up in the booth. You got us?
I got you.
All right, man. Congratulations on that second place finish. You know, I tell you what, we kind of counted you out when Dawson Price got by you, and then you were able to close up that gap. Take us through closing up that gap and getting back by Dawson.
My whole strategy when Dawson passed me, I was like, I don't care. I'm trying to save fuel because for the last like 10 laps, I was saving, saving, saving. I mean, I think lap traffic kind of helped me get close to him, but it sucks seeing him on one of the straights. He pulls off to the side and gives me second place. It sucks. So we were having a great battle, and it just sucks to see him run out of gas.
Yeah, and what were your thoughts when he did run out of gas in front of you?
Honest, I was just hoping I didn't run out of gas either. Um, I was hoping I saved enough. Thankfully, I did. I felt for him because I knew he was devastated, but it's racing.
Yeah, and you know, obviously you were worried. You know, at any point were you thinking about pitting in that last stage?
Um, I was not really because even at the last caution, I saw that we had just enough to get to the end of the race. So I think about for like 10 laps, I just saved fuel. I say I did my best. If Dawson caught me, hey, that's fine. I had about a 10-second gap to fourth place. I'm like, I'll try to save as much as I can. I knew Trevor was saving, so I think that was the best bet to do.
All right. Well, appreciate you taking a moment to talk to us. We're gonna let you get on out of here. Before we do, though, anyone you want to thank?
Just want to thank you guys for broadcasting. It's a pleasure for you guys to stream this. I want to thank Door to Door. Me and Mike do a great job. He's a great teammate. I want to thank Bird Wraps for always making great cars and just overall being a great friend. And yeah,
Great. Well, we appreciate it, buddy. Congratulations again, and we will see you back here next week.
all right. Thank you.
Right, and once again, that was Tristan Haynes coming home second. We're going to move on to tonight's big winner, Trevor Quisenberry, and I think we're going to have to catch up to him over at the Tech Pad. As you know, they're definitely going to be going through that car with a fine tooth comb. Trevor, it's Austin and Tim up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, gotcha.
Got us. I'm sorry. um,
Yep.
Congratulations, man, on the win and in dominant fashion too, man. What was your secret tonight?
Um, I feel like I don't know. I really love the short tracks for the oval, but I seem to always like the road course. So I usually get along with them as long as I can practice a little bit to learn the track limit to where I can go off the track and gain time or whatever the case may be. But there in the end, all I gotta say is thanks to my clutch pedal. I mean, it did the work for me pretty much, but never fuel saved at a road course before, so it was a little stressful.
Yeah, Trevor,
Yeah,
can you talk about that fuel saving just a little bit? That was a long last run, and we did have a couple of cars run out of gas. Um, it looked like at the beginning of the run, I think it was Tyler Hurt was right behind you and was really maintaining, but it looked like maybe you were just playing a little bit of cat and mouse right there.
Yeah, I believe it was Tristan. I know Tyler was the only one to flip the stage. Thankfully, if I would have started on the second row, I don't know how that would have went. So uh, I'm glad nobody really flipped this. I was saving a lot, and then I realized Dawson, my teammate at TGR, he caught uh, Tristan really quick, and I remember him going off track. So I'm like, okay, he must not be saving. And I realized Tristan was keeping pace too, but I was saving as well, so I was still pretty quick while saving. So I realized that I'd be okay, and then lap by lap, I had more fuel at the line, so I was like, okay, I'm good now. But yeah, I just had to keep saving the entire time.
I think maybe the only mistake we saw out of you today was coming out of turn 11, coming to the checkers. You got a little bit off the track. A little bit of excitement there, or did the car just get away from you?
Yeah, I tried saving into the corner too. I don't even know why I did it, but I just want to make sure I'd make it to come back around and do a burnout.
all right. Well, yeah, saving to come back around and make sure you get your burnout in. Yeah, excellent job, and definitely dominant. I believe it was a 12-second gap there. We're gonna let you get on out of here and continue that celebration here. Before we do though, anyone you want to thank?
Yeah, of course, thanks to Outlier Speedco for my setups for the official. I know Team Connie gives us setups for this, so thanks to them as well. Thanks to On Point Sportsbook Casino, Florida Academy, Dubby, Vermont Diecast, Throttled Sim Production, My World of Whiskey, Florida Academy, Enchanted Oaks, Bird Raps, Rebel Racing Network, you guys for the broadcast. Out and Tyler and Corey and all the admins that help us out here.
Right. Well, we appreciate it, buddy. And going back to back, gotta feel good. Any uh, one more question before we let you go. Do you think you make it a three-peat at Phoenix next week?
I didn't even know a race night Phoenix, so we'll see. Hopefully I can run good there. Just looking forward to getting points now. I got screwed because I missed the register button for Nashville, so didn't get any points at all that day.
All right. Well, and you'll be happy to know you did take over the lead here tonight in the point
Oh, I did.
standings. So, congratulations on that. Congratulations on the race win, and we'll see you back here next week, buddy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
All right, and once again, that was Trevor Quisenberry taking home the win. We're going to go ahead and run through our official results here. And once again, Trevor Quisenberry takes home the win. Tristan Haynes in second. Brian Macklin finishes third. Fourth was Dylan Picklesheimer. Tyler Hurt comes home fifth. In sixth, we had Seth LaCroix. Seventh, Madeline Jackson getting her best finish of the season. Joshua Edmonds finishes eighth. Christian Rhodes in ninth. Dawson Price will come home 10th. Alan Hess in 11th. Al Likens finishes 12th. Jason Warbesquez in 13th. Stephen Alesse will finish 14th. Corey Yoakum in 15th. Chet Sellers comes home 16th. Daniel Holloway in 17th. Rob Robertson finishes 18th. 19th was Joshua Riddle. Mike Hill comes home 20th. Dave Mayberry finishes 21st. Thomas Lavierde in 22nd. Eric Rodeman will finish 23rd. Jeremiah Nelson finishes 24th. Nicholas Warner in 25th. Dalton Gregson will come home 26th. Storm Strube finishes 27th. Matthew Johnson will come home 28th. 29th will be Tyler Green. And Tyler Green will actually round out your field there in 29th. And a quick update on our point standings since we got those in so quick. Trevor Quisenberry jumping 3 positions, taking over the lead with 277 points. Al Lakin's going to fall to second with 267 points. Dylan Picklesheimer falls to third with 260 points. Jeremiah Nelson in fourth with 234 points. And Seth LaCroix going to move up to fifth, rounding out your top 5 with 188 points. So once again, I would like to thank everyone for tuning in to this broadcast. Make sure you guys come back same time, same place next week, Thursday evenings, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time for the Florida Academy Cup Series live from Phoenix Motor Speedway. But before that, we do have the TCR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. They will be coming to us live from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So going right back to Indy for their 10th race of the season. That will be Wednesday night, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. But until then, this is Austin and Tim signing off. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you back here next week.
Good night.